Wait for it. Wait for it. There we go. It is 2 hours UTC, and it is again time for Astronomy Daily Live. Hey, everybody. You can call me Cosmic, and I'm glad you're here, gathering together the daily circle of friends to sit back, relax, turn off the TV, forget about the news. Let's talk about the universe. Let's talk about astronomy, how to look at the universe, what kinds of things are in the universe, how we're moving through the universe, what our place is. Um, we're as much in outer space as everything else. We're as far away from everything else as they are from us. So we're way out there too. We are way out there. There's no center. There's not any of this at all. So it's wow. It's just amazing. I mean, as a kid, I uh, began to look around and just be in total awe and amazement. And it's like, what do I have to do? What do I have to do to understand what I'm seeing, and get an idea about what's going on and what things are out there, and all of that. And the answer came to me in the study of astronomy. And so uh, we frequented the local little library uh, there, and found a few astronomy books. So as a kid, 5, 6, 7, 8 years old or so, that was good enough. A few books at the local, little library. Then I discovered the main library downtown, and they had a whole two or three shelves just of astronomy books. And wow, just my universe expanded a little bit more. And then later on, in maybe like mid high school or so, I discovered the university library. There was a local university nearby, and for 35 cents, 35 cents, I could hop on the bus, the city bus, and they would drive the 25 to 30 miles out, um, outside of town to the local university. And I would go to the library, and they had a like two or three whole sections on just astronomy. They also had physics, mathematics, and they had journals. They had the magazines. I remember uh, um, finding for the first time the Astrophysical Journal and Physics Today, and learning how to use microfiche and all of that awesomeness, right? So I'm pulling up my chat here, and I'm going to go over to my smartphone and pull up the live stream that way. So yeah, I hope everybody's doing well. We're gonna talk astronomy here for a little while. I I realized today that for this channel, now not necessarily for just Astronomy Daily Live, but for this channel, my YouTube channel, I have yesterday I posted my 100th video, and that's pretty interesting. That's pretty interesting. What's kind of strange and perplexing, and something that I'm really scratching my head over, um, in terms of this live stream, is where's the traction? Where's the attention? Where you know, I'm I'm not looking for 15, 16,000 viewers at the same time. I'm not. I think that's a mess. I think that's a total mess. No, I don't want that. I want a nice group of friends, a few, maybe a dozen, couple dozen or so, to come in every single day. That's one of the cool things about a daily live stream, is that people who come in don't have to come in every single day. They can come in whenever they want, right? Any day of the week. You can come in here at 2 hours UTC. You can sit down with a circle of friends and think and talk all things astronomy for a while, right? And I think that's really, really great. And I've gotten a little bit of support from a couple of viewers, but nothing. It's silence. It's absolute silence. No support. No support from uh, any of the other podcasts. Barely, barely even an acknowledgement of my existence, right? What what is that? What is that? Okay? I want to fully support um, anybody who wants to come in here and talk astronomy for a while. The weekly space hangout has been going on for many years, and is totally awesome. Check them out. They they go every single week at the same, more or less, I think, the same time, same place. It's a great group of people. Check out weekly space hangout. They have they're awesome, awesome. Check them out. Do they check me out? Did they say anything about this at all? No, nothing. Not even a look my way. Nothing. Nothing at all. Tony Darnell, okay, he runs deepastronomy.space, a fantastic podcast. Tony is so great. He knows so many things, and he does at least 2 shows a week, Wednesdays and Thursdays. Um, uh, I think they're, I can't be sure about the times, but I want to say like 4 or 5 p.m. Eastern Eastern Daylight Time. Is that what they're on now? Um, Tony came on to this live stream um, once, sort of briefly, and since then there's been complete and utter silence. Okay, I go to Deep Astronomy as often as I can, which is practically every single show he does. No mention at all. Today, he at least said hi. He at least said hi, but that's it. Okay? No mention of a live stream, no mention of anything else. Are you people really that busy and that preoccupied that you can't, you know, try to support each other a little bit? This is synergy, right? This is synergy. The sum of the individual parts is greater than those individuals. It's, I mean, that's how it's supposed to work, and that's how the universe works. The universe does this. Buckminster Fuller talked about um, um, ephemeralization. And ephemeralization is this concept of doing more and more and more with less and less and less until you get to the point where the universe is doing everything with no effort at all. Okay? No energy gained or lost. There's no effort there at all, and everything is being done. And that is synergy. And, you know, it's just, it's, I, I thoroughly enjoy doing this, and I'm going to continue, but I'm scratching my head, racking my brain, trying to understand where's the support, where's the growth. Um, you know, maybe this is just too new. Maybe I have to be doing this for 10 years. Okay, maybe I have to do this for 10 years, and then maybe I'll get, 20 or 30 viewers, and maybe I'll get, 100 subscribers. I don't know. I don't know. But it's so much more fun to have a nice little crowd, right? I really, really appreciate, the one or two who come in here, you know, almost every day. I think it's great, and that I hope is not going to change. You guys are my core for for sure. But I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to understand what's the turnoff. What you know? It's almost like um, they get this email, or the black cars they drive up, and they say, hey, don't acknowledge him, don't even pay any attention at all. And I mean, I'm not into that kind of stuff. I don't think that that is what is um, going on. But it's really, really weird that there's such a lack of support, um, where, I mean, I'm trying to give as much as I can in terms of shouting out, um, you know as many of these other podcasters, organizations, websites, anywhere that you can get um, 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 information about astronomical things, and saturate yourself if you want to, and I think that's great. That seems to be sort of what people want, right? I mean, I participate um, in these other chats, and people are hungry for um, conversation, um, lots of information, um, you know, but I do something like this, and I'm going to continue this for sure. Now it is going to evolve. It's going to evolve. It's going to change. My big thing, my big thing is to get better and better and better and better. And so sorry that the quality of the video isn't up to your standards, and so sorry that the vocals here are a little bit faint. So you got to turn the volume up a little bit. But you know what? I seem to be pretty consistent, right? These other shows seem to have these technical problems um, constantly. Okay, I have I have almost zero technical problems. And maybe that's because I'm keeping it simple, okay? Because I think that it's the content. it's the actual stuff and, delivery that is the most important thing, and not how pretty everything looks. Okay. And I don't know, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's completely skewed. Maybe people are, you know, they they just want, the video to look nice and crisp and sharp, and screw, what's actually being said, and screw all the effort that's going into it. I don't know, but um, so yeah, I'm trying to understand why there's such a lack of attention and lack of acknowledgement. Um, I don't want to be rude. I don't want to be obnoxious. I'm not going to go on to somebody else's podcast, somebody else's live stream, and go, hey, 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 it's me. Watch me. Look at me. I'm not going to do that. That's rude. That's insensitive. That is taking away from the quality that is that podcast or that live stream. Okay, what I'm going to do when I um, go onto a live stream is I'm going to participate like everybody else. Okay, now if the host or one of the guests mentions the fact that I'm here and I'm doing a live stream, I will provide a little tiny snippet of information, because I think that is justified, and uh, I mean, they said it first, right? And you better believe I'm sitting there waiting, right? I am waiting for them to make some kind of acknowledgement, okay? Um, and if they don't, which they don't, then nothing is said, right? And I participate in the conversations, and they're great, and they're absolutely fantastic. But I'm racking my brain trying to figure out, how I can just get a little tiny bit more traction. So if nothing else, if nothing else, I don't, you don't have to sit here for an hour or more every day just listening to me. Okay, this is a Google Hangout. Okay, along the bottom here, I can have 10 guests. Okay, 10 guests can come in. I can put my headphones on and we can have a conversation. But none of that is happening. Okay, I've been asking that almost every single live stream to send me an email, cosmiclettuce@gmail.com. Send me an email, okay, asking to come on to this live stream. You don't have to come on every single day. Come on every single year. I don't care, right? I don't care. I I'm I just want to grow a circle of friends, okay? Because and I said this, I've said this um, um, a number of times, and I guess I'll just repeat it now. And that is, I decided to start this live stream because I found some holes that needed to be filled. Nature abhors a vacuum, and I found some holes that needed to be filled. One of them was this daily cadence. Okay, there was a weekly cadence. There's maybe a couple times a week, sporadic. Nothing incredibly consistent, right? At high frequency, right? So I thought, okay, in terms of astronomy, I can talk astronomy all day, all night. Okay, I'm sitting here in my evenings anyway. I'm 7 hours behind UTC. I'm in southeastern Arizona in the United States. I'm 7 hours behind UTC. So 2 hours UTC is, you got to subtract 7 hours from that is 7 p.m. my local time, Mountain Standard Time. And Arizona is one of the few locations on the planet that has one time, Mountain Standard Time. We don't go into daylight savings time, which I don't care. Okay, I don't care, but that's just one less thing that I have to think about, right? Because I am always 7 hours behind. So at 7 o'clock at night, okay, I'm sitting here, okay, I have a very, very simple life. I've made it that way, okay? I've created it that way. Simple. I don't have a lot of places to go. I don't have, um, you know, a lot of things going on. I've got a couple of things going on that I work on very, very intensely every single day. And that's it, right? I don't have 15, 20, 30 things going on at the same time, traveling all over the world and all that. No, no, no. It's not for me. If I want to travel around the world, I get onto these things and I move around that way. So I'm sitting here anyway at night thinking about astronomy most of the time. So it's like, why not grab a camera, grab a microphone, figure out how to do a live stream and do it and share? Because it seems to me, I mean, uh, just a couple of weeks, well, it's been maybe a week and a half now or so. Um, I got active on cloudynights.com. Shout out to cloudynights.com. Here's another example. Okay, I have contacted two of the administrators, asking them, is there a way that I can promote my live stream? Okay, instead of doing the rude thing and posting all over the place, right? And uh, um, uh, which would probably end up, me being booted off the site, right? I go to the administrators, private message, private message, and I say, hey, just really, really brief, okay? I'm doing a daily live stream. It's fun, it's casual. We talk astronomy. Here's the link. How can I promote this on cloudy nights? Okay, no response, none, zero, not even a no. Okay, I don't get a yes, I don't get a no, I don't get anything at all. No response. It's as if the black cars, right? As soon as I hit the send message, right? Now, I mean, I'm kidding, right? But it's as if the black cars drive up to these people's houses and say, don't don't respond. Don't respond to him. Don't respond at all. And it's bizarre. It's really, really bizarre. So, you know, I think having a daily place where, you know, people who share a similar passion can get together and chat live, I think is very, very cool. Now, cloudynights.com is a very, very, very active site. I that tells me that tells me beyond a shadow of a doubt that people are hungry for this kind of conversation. Okay, they want to talk astronomy, they want to ask questions, they you know but they also want it to be in a very informal, fun way where it isn't like an interview. And it isn't like I'm the high priest who has all the answers, right? And you're going to ask me questions and I'm going to tell you how things are, okay? As a scientist, I cannot do that. As a scientist, I'm as confused but as curious as anybody, right? Um, the only thing that I can do is observe and go, wow. And that's what I do every single day. So I know that there's an active community of people. And what I'm trying to figure out, what I'm trying to understand is how to get more exposure, how to get a little bit more traction. As I said, I do not want ever, ever a stadium full of people watching my live stream. I have no interest in that. I think that that does serve a purpose, but it's too much. It's way too much. I would like to have a little group, a couple of dozen, um, who, you know, form this row here, and we chit chat about all things astronomical for half an hour or an hour or 2 hours or 15 minutes, whatever it is, right? Whatever it is, I don't care. I don't care because this is fun. This is fun. And why that's not happening is just, it's perplexing. It's perplexing that there's no support, no support, no, not even acknowledgement, not even acknowledgement of my existence, while I am doing everything that I can. See, if I had an audience, if I had an audience to actually, talk to and say, look, watch Deep Astronomy, watch the Weekly Space Hangout, watch Dennis R. Hands. They're all awesome. They're all very, very awesome. I mean, I have never, ever, ever said anything opposite of that at all. Um, but there's, I mean, I would, I mean, it would be nice to even have a thing where it's like, look, dude, you suck. Okay, you're terrible. You're ruining it. Um, uh, whatever you're doing, please stop. Please stop. If that's the message, if that is the message, then you need to tell me, okay? You cannot ignore me, okay? Because this this format, this live stream, to me is so easy. It's so easy to do that I'm not stopping. I'm not stopping at all because it's too easy. It's way too easy, and it's what I want to do anyway. Okay? So what you have to do, okay, this can be very, and maybe this is the case, right? I don't know. But this matter inside of this skull can sometimes be extremely dense. Have you ever heard of neutron stars? Okay, neutron stars are supposedly some of the most densest matter in the universe. I think they say something like a teaspoon of neutron star weighs like a million tons or a billion tons or something like that, right? It's extremely dense. Okay. Now, that is definitely how my brain can be. Okay. I can be extremely dense. So, what you have to do, dear audience, is you have to tell me, okay? Don't worry about being rude. Don't worry about hurting my feelings. Don't worry about any of that at all, because it's all I can do is get better. And I mean, do I need help with that? I don't know. I don't know. Um, I have no feedback, so I don't know. I don't know if this is, you know, sort of an interesting thing or not. The little tiny bit of feedback that I do get from the one or two regular viewers that always come in is total support. Is total support. So I've got this I've got this very deep chasm, right, between the one or two supporters who uh, are completely, you know, uh, uh, um, completely on base, right? They're like, you know, cheering me on the whole thing, and then I've got this other side that is this big active community, right? All things astronomy, okay? And there's utter silence, absolute silence, not acknowledgement, not get away, not anything at all. It's dead silence. And I don't get it. I don't get it. And as I said, I'm probably just being incredibly dense, incredibly dense. But it would be so nice. It would be so nice to have a few people down here on a panel talking astronomy. You don't have to come in every single day. There's, I mean, that's that's a lot, I think, for somebody to ask for. But I'm here every single day. You can come in to this group of friends, to this circle of friends, and know you can wake up in the morning, right? You can wake up in the morning and know that at 2 hours UTC, your friend Cosmic, okay, is going to be live streaming and talking astronomy. And that's all we talk here is astronomy. We we can do Q&A. I have no problem with that at all. There are new people coming into astronomy all the time. I see it on cloudynights.com every single day. There's somebody posting um, something saying, I'm completely new. Okay. So I know that this happens. I know this happens every single day. There are new people who just have questions. Okay. What is a star? What is a galaxy? What telescope should I get? How does a telescope work? What do I need? You know, of course, I need a telescope, but what else do I need? Um, then there are the amateurs who I know for a fact are a lot like myself in that, okay, given the opportunity to talk astronomy, they will talk and talk and talk and talk and talk for hours, for hours. Okay. So I know that that's out there. Professionals, okay, professionals are welcome here as well. Okay. Because professionals, um, they also love talking about their work, what they're doing, especially when somebody seems interested. Okay. And not necessarily like an interview. Okay. But just listening and, maybe going through one of their papers. I think that'd be awesome. I mean, so many times, and here's more information. Okay. Here's more information that I have gathered over the years. So many times. Okay. I have written an email to an author, either asking for a reprint or asking a question or asking for more information, something like that. And most of the time, one of the first things that these professional astronomers say is, I'm so glad that somebody is reading my paper. You know, and I know how that is, because a lot of effort goes into the writing of a paper. In fact, I would have to say that the writing of the paper is sort of the culmination, it's what professional astronomers are sort of aiming for. Okay, they're aiming for an understanding, right? But they're also aiming for writing that paper, formalizing their thoughts. So when they're, you know, spending more than half of their time looking for money to support themselves and to support their students, say, or their employees, members of their staff, secretarial staff, grad students, undergraduates, whoever it is, right? Everything costs money, right? Telescope time, okay? If you want to observe at a major observatory, you're going to be dropping several $1,000s a night, okay? Um, in order to publish a paper, okay? That's why I come on here, and when I say that these guys have published a 29-page paper, okay, I'm doing the math in my head, okay? To publish a professional paper in a major journal like the Astrophysical Journal, the Astronomical Journal, monthly notices of the Royal Astronomical Society, um, uh, um, publications of the Astronomical Society um, of the Pacific, it costs several $100s per page. Per page. Okay? I mean, I've published papers. Okay, I've got my name on 23 papers at this point. Now I'm the primary author on only one, but I know what the process is, and it's several $100s per page, right? So, you're spending half of your professional time just begging for money so you can do all this stuff, right? And the culmination of that, I don't know where I was going with this, but the culmination of that is, number one, an understanding, hopefully a better understanding of the subject matter that you are studying. But the other, and equally important, is sharing that information around. And the way that scientists share information is they publish. Okay, they publish their papers, and most papers have sort of a basic format, right? There's a title, there's an abstract, and an abstract is like a very, very brief, usually like a paragraph, sometimes a pretty long paragraph, but a paragraph long description of the entire paper. Um, Sort of like a executive summary. Um, then there's an introduction, which sort of lays out, okay, this is um, um, sort of the problem that we're trying to solve. This is sort of the history, right? The history of what others have done and observed and published, and then this is what we did. Okay, their observations, their data, and then it gets into the analysis of data, and then conclusions. So most papers are like that. Even the theoretical ones are like that. The theoretical ones won't have like actual data, but they'll have data from models. They'll have lots of mathematical equations. You know, all of that. So that's sort of um, um, the basic format, right? And so anyway, fact of the matter is that the professionals want to talk about their stuff too, and this live stream daily format is a way for them to come in and talk about their work. And it's not going to be an interview. Okay, it's not going to be an interview. You pros are not going to be put up on this high pedestal giving us answers. Okay, what you're going to do is you're going to talk about your work. And that's what pros like to do. Okay, when pros go to lunch with other pros, they talk about their work. They talk about what they're working on right now, the problems that they're having. It is hard. Science in general is very, very, very hard work. It's hard. It's mentally hard, physically hard um, to a certain extent, but it's really, really, really hard stuff. So look, I know there are lots and lots of people who want to be able to talk astronomy, okay? And that's why it's driving me insane. It's driving me insane that there's nobody in the chat, okay? I'm viewing. It says that there are 2 viewers. So somebody else is watching this besides me. And that's it. And that's it. Over the course of the next 24 hours, okay, I will get somewhere between 2 and 10 more views. Okay. Now, this is, I've been looking at the stats as well, and that's why I'm saying that I'm thinking that Astronomy Daily Live is going to evolve and change a little tiny bit. Um, uh, I do have to give a shout out to SpaceTVnet. They are the first uh, sort of organization, the first website to actually acknowledge me, right? I as long as I do my part, right, I am up on their site, and people at least know that this is happening. Now, I have gotten, uh, I would, I mean, I can't say for certain, but I think there's been almost no response at all. Now, SpaceTVnet is based in Europe, and 2 hours UTC for Europe is pretty tough. It's pretty tough to get on here live. I don't have any expectations. Look, if somebody was doing a live stream at 2 a.m. where I live, I would never, I would, I honestly, I would never, ever get on to their live stream. However, however, and I do this. Maybe I'm one of the only ones that do this. Okay, in terms of podcasters, but I watch and listen to most of the astronomy related podcasts. Okay, I can listen and work at the same time most of the time. Sometimes, if I'm really trying to solve a problem and I have to be able to concentrate, okay, I don't want to have voices in my head, right? I want to be able to concentrate a little bit more. But for the most part, if I can't get the live stream, if I can't get there when they're going live, then I will listen within 24 hours, okay? Usually within 12 hours of that happening. Now, is this happening for this live stream? Maybe a little, but oh, come on. Come on. Oh, come on. It's got to be just a little tiny bit more. SpaceTVnet is, as far as I can tell, a pretty big organization, right? I mean, they're exposed to a lot of people, and let me tell you, you know, um, um, American astronomers in the United States are pretty rabid, right? They're pretty active, right? But compared to the astronomers in the UK and in Europe, oh my, oh wow, those those folks, you folks in Europe are awesome. You're so active, so knowledgeable, so hungry for um, this information. Why? Why then am I getting 6 views a day? Come on. There's 300 million Europeans. Not all of them are astronomers, of course, but come on. Okay. I've got 72 subscribers. Give me a break. Give me a break. Come on. Come on. What what needs to be done here? Okay? I want to get better. And look, if you come back and tell me, now look, what's going to happen, okay? I'm going to do this rant tonight, right? I'm going to do this rant and I'm going to get no response. Nothing. I'm going to get zero. That's what I'm counting on. Okay, is that I'm not going to get any response whatsoever. Okay, I'm asking you to tell me what needs to be done in order to make this better. Okay, is it me? Is it the vibe? Is it the content? Is it the delivery? Is it the time? Is what needs to happen in order to make this better? Okay, now if I have to get a a a, a newer or better webcam, okay, so I can I can podcast in 4K, okay. Well, something like that's not going to happen because I am limited in my bandwidth. Okay, so I would love to be running OBS, but at least in the situation that I have now, okay, that ain't happening. Now, look, if you want that to happen, you send me a computer, okay? Send me a better computer. Send me some cash so I can increase my bandwidth, okay? Go on to Amazon, find me a webcam, send it to me, okay? Get a hold of me, mail it to me, okay? No problem at all. Now, all of these things will happen, okay? All these things will happen. But if that's all you're interested in is getting 4K, then what are you watching this for? This is astronomy. We're talking astronomy. We're not talking high resolution video. Okay? We're talking astronomy here. We're looking at papers. We're talking about galaxies and telescopes and stars and planets. And yeah, we'll even talk about life, although life has nothing to do with astronomy as far as I'm concerned. Or does astronomy have everything to do with life? I don't know. I don't know. So come on, you got to be honest. You got to be honest. Don't worry about it. Okay, send me a private email. Okay, my eyes only, cosmiclettuce@gmail.com. Okay, this doesn't have to be public, right? You can send me an email to my private email address. I'm the only one that is going to be able to see that. Okay, but let me tell you what's going to happen. Nothing. I'm going to get no emails. I'm going to get no responses. I'm going to get no acknowledgement whatsoever. None. Zero. And it's bizarre. That to me is bizarre. It's very bizarre because I have data that says that people want this and that I am filling a vacuum that nobody else is doing right now. And I don't get it. I don't get it. But I'm going to get no response whatsoever. Now, let's do an object of the day. And it's going to be an NGC object. The NGC catalog is the new general catalog. And it's numbered basically in order of right ascension. So the low numbers have right ascensions near 0 hours, and the large numbers have right ascensions very, very close to 24 hours. So, an NGC number right in the middle, like around what? Well, there are 7,480 NGC objects. Most of these are what are called non-stellar objects. These are things that aren't stars. So these are things that could be part of the Milky Way, could not be. Of course, the galaxies, which are non-stellar objects, are not part of the Milky Way, but things like open clusters, globular clusters, planetary nebulae, gaseous nebulae are part of our galaxy, and actually most of them are relatively near us. We can't really see very far out. Um, not with any good resolution. Um, but yeah, so most of these objects are non-stellar objects. Now, was it last week? We were looking at NGC 2707. Okay, and NGC 2707 turns out to be a misidentified star. So, somebody made a mistake somewhere and said, oh, that little smudge there, that little faint little smudgy thingy there, maybe it looks like a galaxy. Let's put it in the list. 2707's the next one. Anyway, so about halfway through that, what is around 3,600 or so. So NGC 3600 would have a right ascension of about 12 hours or so. Right ascension goes from 0 hours all the way around to 24 hours. In 24 hours, of course, you start again at 0, right? So let's look at the NGC catalog, and I'm going to share my screen. I'm just trying to send out some vibes to the universe to get this show on the road. Damn. So we're looking at random.org here, and random.org is going to choose our NGC object for the evening. So what did I say, 7,840 or 7,480? Oh, I think it's 7,480. Okay, so it's going to choose an integer between 1 and 7,480. Are you ready for the drum roll? Bing. NGC 1870. So I like to go to a site called Simbad. It's based in France, and it is awesome. Now, there's a lot of astronomical databases out there, but I go to Simbad just because it's what I've always gone to. So 1870. Yes, Uncle Bill. I knew it was you watching. NGC. Now, I know that you just wrote it up on the chat, but I'm going to make sure. Okay, 1870. 1870. This is a star cluster. It looks like a pretty small one, too. So, and it looks like it's in the southern hemisphere as well. So you can see the right ascension here, 5 hours, 13 minutes, 10.88 seconds, and a declination of negative 69 degrees, 7 minutes, 2.9 seconds. So this is a cluster that can only be seen in the southern hemisphere. So shout out to all you folks in the southern hemisphere. Pretty small too. It's like 1 arc minute across. So what that that can mean a couple of things, right? It can mean that this cluster of stars is intrinsically really small, meaning that there's only a few stars, and it's just sort of a loose association, right? It can also mean that it's very far away. Now, I'm sort of guessing that it might be actually a combination of both, right? Because I'm looking at the picture here and I'm seeing just a blob, right? You can't even resolve any of the stars in there. I'm also noticing that it's in a very rich field. I think this happens to be along the galactic plane. In fact, we can look at the galactic coordinates here. And the galactic coordinates are in degrees. So they go from 0 to 360, and then from positive 90 to negative 90. And the galactic equator is, of course, along the galactic plane. And then you have the north galactic pole and the south galactic pole. And so yeah, so it's sort of looking like this is at 280-ish degrees, and then negative 30. So it's really not in the galactic plane all that much at all. It's pretty off of the galactic plane. So something else has to explain why I'm seeing so many stars here. And I've got to guess that it might be part of either the large Magellanic Cloud or the small Magellanic Cloud. But I can't be sure about that. As a scientist, I'm usually wrong. So I freely and happily admit those kinds of things. Don't come to me for any kind of answers or surety about anything at all. That's my preliminary guess. So here are the magnitudes. B and V are wavelength bands in the visible wavelengths. B is, I think, centered around like about 4,500 angstroms, and V is centered around like 5,500 angstroms, but pretty faint. The magnitude scale in astronomy is sort of reversed. So the larger the number, the fainter the object. And so a magnitude 11.45, that's quite faint, So just like this live stream, a much neglected, much overlooked cluster of stars. It looks like there have been 27 references to this object in the past 20 plus years. So yeah, hey, Mr. Cluster, I feel you. I feel you for sure. Here's a couple other names for it. Of course, it's NGC 1870, but it's also got a, at least um, um, three other names. The um, the other names are more or less just um, um, different catalogs, right? So they've looked at a number of stars, and they've looked for certain properties, right? It could be distance. It could be what the stars are made of. Could be how old they are. Could be lots of things, right? And um, we categorize these things. We put them in catalogs and we name them and number them, just like that. And look, I'm already seeing LMC. LMC stands for Large Magellanic Cloud. So I think I'm right. I can't, sometimes on very, very, very rare occasions, I am right when I make a guess. And this is it. This is one of those. Yeah, I'm thinking it's part of the Large Magellanic Cloud. It's probably a um, um, cluster of stars inside the Large Magellanic Cloud. Now, the Large Magellanic Cloud, of course, is a dwarf galaxy, but it's a companion to our Milky Way. So they're actually gravitationally bound, and the Large Magellanic Cloud and the Small Magellanic Cloud are both orbiting the Milky Way. Unfortunately for us here up in the north, uh, the the Magellanic Clouds are only visible in the southern hemisphere. Hence the name Magellanic Cloud, because uh, apparently the first European, at least, to see these objects was Magellan when he sailed around the Earth. Right? He went very, very far south. He went all the way down to the Straits of Magellan, Tierra del Fuego, way, way, way south, and saw these objects in the sky and named them after um, himself. Now, I don't know if he actually named them or if somebody else did, but somehow his name got associated um, 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 with it. So yeah, let's take a look. Uncle Bill is chomping at the bit because he's seeing a cloud uh, with um, you're probably using uh, um, stellarium, right? Which is also extremely awesome, extremely awesome. Stellarium is a free planetarium piece of software. Um, runs on your machine. You can look at the sky. You can zoom in, zoom out. You can go back in time, forward in time, etc. But so since Uncle Bill, one of my awesomers, um, is spamming my Discord channel with pictures and all that. And Uncle Bill, you have my total and full permission to spam as much as you possibly as much as you possibly want. In fact, I think it's time. Whoop. Let's see. Can I do this? Can I do this? You've got a wrench. You're my first wrench, dude. So let's zoom out here. That is a beautifully rich field of stars. Now these images are taken. This is probably the Sloan Digital Sky Survey, SDSS. And yeah, let's just keep zooming out here. Holy moly. That's a couple of stars. Yeah, that's looking like the Large Magellanic Cloud. Yep. Is it the Large Magellanic Cloud? Yeah, because this is Eta Carina over here, which I believe is associated with the LMC. How do you like that, Uncle Bill? You got a wrench. You're responsible now. Don't you hate that? I've got a couple of wrenches too, and I hate the responsibility. I don't want them. Yeah, so here's the Large Magellanic Cloud. Here's the Small Magellanic Cloud. This is a pretty poor rendering here, but here is the plane of the Milky Way. So let's zoom back in. So yeah, this cluster is obviously associated with the Large Magellanic Cloud. So we can zoom back in, and we can actually see that there are some other clusters here too. That looks like a cluster. There's rendering going on here, but it's just, I don't know about you, but it blows my mind to imagine all of this stuff out here. All of this stuff. These are all stars. Okay, stars, sort of like our sun. Okay, sort of like our sun. So if they're sort of like our sun, maybe they've got planets. Maybe they've got asteroids and comets and meteors and dust and gas and rings and moons and so much stuff. And when I look at something like this, okay, one of the first, I mean, I'm in awe, right? I'm in total blowing the mind awe, okay? But what comes right after that is why are we sitting here on this little tiny planet fighting over quote unquote limited resources? That's a bunch of BS. That's a bunch of BS. You look at something like this and okay, fine. There are a finite number of stars and there's a finite amount of stuff, right? But come on, what are we fighting for? We're jealous of somebody else having something that we don't have when we've got all this stuff. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable that we would fight over quote unquote limited resources. What a bunch of bull. That's a bunch of just total BS. Total BS. Well, in this image, 1870 is also a blur. Now, what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to do it live because I've already taken over an hour here. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to Gaia. Okay, I'm going to go on to Gaia, and you know, as a programmer and as a sort of a moderately computer savvy dude, okay, I can go over to the Gaia catalog and I can query their database with an SQL query to find all the stars in the vicinity of this position, okay? And I can be presented with a list, a comma delimited list of right ascensions, declinations, magnitudes, colors, velocities. Gaia's got lots and lots of information, right? And what I can do is I can use a program called GNU Plot. GNU Plot, in my opinion, is probably one of the greatest plotting programs ever, ever. I've been using it for uh, quite a long time now, and I have barely scratched um, the surface in terms of what it's capable of. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that table that Gaia presents to me, and using GNU Plot, I can actually plot if if Gaia has actually identified objects in this field of view, I can actually plot them on GNU Plot and present you, hopefully, no promises, but I can present you with a plot that actually shows the members of this cluster. So instead of this stupid, fuzzy, nothing blob, right, that nobody cares about, right? Nobody even cares about it. We're going to show it off. And those stars, I'm not only going to be able to show the positions of those stars, but I'll be able to show their magnitudes, how bright they are, by changing the size of the dots. So I will do that. I'm going to do that right after this live stream because it's the thing to do. This is a much neglected cluster, and it needs a little bit of love. So let's look at the references really quick. Now, what I've noticed with these references is that not always is the actual object named in these papers. But let's just see. So ages of large Magellanic Cloud star clusters using ASAD2. I don't know what ASAD2 is. Let's see if there's something more specific to 1870. No compelling evidence of significant early star cluster disruption in the Large Magellanic Cloud. Okay. Age and mass for 900 and, ooh, here we go. Age and mass for 920 Large Magellanic Cloud clusters derived from 100 million Monte Carlo simulations. Holy moly. Somebody had a lot of computer time. Integrated parameters of star clusters, structures of surface brightness profiles of LMC and SMC star clusters, evidence for mergers. It's papers like this, globular clusters. Okay, it doesn't look like, I don't think this is a globular cluster. So I don't know why there's a reference to that here. Binary and multiple clusters in the Large Magellanic Cloud. The revised and extended catalog. See, look at this. This is going back to 1999. How pitiful. A revised and extended catalog of Magellanic Star Clusters, associations, and emission nebulae. All right, well, let's look at this latest one because at least this one is in the same decade. So we can go to, hey, Samantha Connor. We're just I'm finishing up here. I went on a little bit of a rant, so you'll have to watch that at your leisure. But we're looking at a very not very exciting cluster of stars in the large Magellanic Cloud. It's called NGC 1870, and it's a much neglected cluster. And let's look at least one paper that seems to want to reference it. Ages of Large Magellanic Cloud um, star clusters using ASAD2. ASAD2 is the analyzer for spectra for age determination. So, see, these papers are really cool because, at least to me, they're sort of jumping off points, right? It's like, what is ASAD2? What are they talking about, right? And they don't, that's not really what this paper is about. It's about using um, ASAD2. So they're not going to get into a lot of detail as to what ASAD2 is. But for me, it's sort of a jumping off point. Um, uh, yeah, I don't know uh, if it'd be, between us. Um, yeah, it's hard to tell. As I said, I'm going to go into Gaia and see what that shows because, I mean, Gaia, if you look at the astrometry, which I don't believe it, but their astrometry goes out to like 11 or 12 decimal points. So I don't think that those are actual, valid, but it goes out that far. So, the resolution there is uh, nano arc seconds, right? Nano arc seconds. So I'll be able to pull out stars and zoom in on it, the whole thing. So we'll get to the bottom of that, I hope. Anyway, so every single paper is a jumping off point and also a lesson in history. So, the references are all, vectors pointing backwards in time, talking about some aspect of, the topic here. But let's just sort of see. They're talking about the ages of clusters in the Large Magellanic Cloud. So let's see if we can get a PDF file at least. This is one of the things that just drives me insane. I mentioned this earlier too, okay? Scientists, yeah, scientists have to pay these publications, okay, to publish their papers, okay? They have to do that. So why do these publications charge me to read that same paper when they've already gotten paid for it? Arr. Anyway, we're in. We went through archive.org, which is the awesome site. So these guys are in the United Arab Emirates and in Spain. So that is very cool. So what I like to do first is I like to just sort of see if 1870 is mentioned. 1870. It is. Look at that. Wow. Let's zoom in. Check it out. So let's see. We have to understand what this table is. Okay, so this is table 1, targets observed. NGC 1870. So they're looking at some spectra. I'm gathering that from the fact that they're talking about resolution in angstroms. And they have an age estimate. So these are the CMD ages obtained from the literature. CMD, I don't know what a CMD age is. And the unit is log age per year. So this is a logarithmic scale, 10 to the 7.86. 10 to the 7.86 age per year. I don't know what age per year means, unless that just means years. But let's see. Now, every good scientist, I've mentioned this a number of times, okay? Every good scientist has at his or her, within arm's reach, has a calculator on hand, okay? Not the one on the computer, okay? Not the one across the room, okay? Within arm's reach, within 2 or 3 feet, okay? So there's my calculator tapping on the microphone. So I'm going to go 7.86, and then I have a function that does 10 to that. Whoops, I've got to do that first. 7.86 equals. Whoop, I did the logarithm. I've got to hold down shift. Okay, hold on. I'm doing, oh, there we go. Okay. So at least according to this reference, this cluster is about 72 million years old. 72 million years old. And let's see, B minus V. So B minus V is a color, right? They've looked at the brightness of this cluster in the B band, and they've looked at this cluster in the V band. So in the blue, which, as I said, was around like 4,500 angstroms, and in the V band, which is about 5,500 angstroms. And then they've taken those two magnitudes and subtracted V from B, and they get this number, 0.14. Okay, which means that the B magnitude is larger than the V magnitude. Now, because the magnitude scale is reversed, right? The larger the magnitude, the fainter the object. What that actually means is that this cluster is brighter in the V for Victor. So a positive B minus V value, sometimes they like to say that that's more red. It's reddish. It's sort of leaning towards the red, because of course the red is around 6,000 angstroms or so. So the fact that this is sort of leaning towards the V means that it's leaning towards the red, right? So let's see if this is mentioned anywhere else. It is. age predicted by different model libraries using different statistical methods. So here's just a bunch of, they've employed some kind of models, and they've made some guesses, and they even see, now good scientists always publish their errors as well. That's how certain they are. And a large error like that means that uncertainty is quite high, right? Now here's one that says 0%. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all. So 7.8, 7.86. Again, this is logarithmic, so it's 10 to the 7.8 years. So 7.8. I've got to hold down the shift. I don't know why that doesn't work when I want it to. 7.8 equals shift. I don't know why that's not. I don't know how I got it to work before. Anyway, so 7.8, 7.86, 7.81. Here's an 8, 7.85. They're in pretty good agreement, right? They're pretty good agreement there. That it looks like it's around 74 million years. Let me try this. I don't know why my handy dandy calculator here is not performing its function. 7.8 equals. Okay, so 10 to the 7.8 is 63 million years, and 10 to the 8, of course, is 100 million years. So somewhere between 63 million years and 100 million years. Pretty cool. See if it's mentioned anywhere else. Reddening. Okay. Reddening is just sort of a measure of how much stuff is between us and that object. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to remember how to read, how to interpret these numbers. Again, these are the B minus V colors. So there is some reddening going on, which means that there is some stuff. But I don't really know how to interpret that. So I'm going to move on. What is this one? Okay, so we just looped around there. Okay. Let's see what the rest of this paper is, and then, oh man, I'm really running late. Let's not. I'm gonna get out of here for now. Woo-wee. Stop sharing. I am worn out. All right. Thanks for coming in. Thanks for listening to the rant. If you didn't hear it at the beginning, listen to it, because I'm just I mean, I want this to get better and better and better, and I'm getting absolutely no response, zero, and I want to understand why. And the mothership, yeah, has been calling for a little while. Hydrogen hydroxide, HOH. Cheers. All right, I'm going to get out of here for now. Astronomy Daily Live on again tomorrow, live stream, 2 hours UTC, or anytime. Just subscribe, okay? I'm not even getting any subscribers, okay? What is going on? It's weird. It's just weird. So let's figure this out. Hang with me, stick with me. We're just having fun here anyway. But yeah, some of these things are just maddening, trying to figure out human behavior. It just I don't know. I don't get it. We'll do astronomy tomorrow and the next day and the next day. Come in anytime you want. The door is open. Okay. Don't feel as though you have to come here every single day because you don't. You don't. That's the cool thing about a daily live stream is that you can come in any day you want and you can know that I am going to be here. I'm going to be here talking astronomy. There's so much to talk about. Did you see all those stars? We can talk about every single one of them. It'll take a million years just to talk about those few stars in that little tiny field of view. It's insane. All right, I'm going to get out of here for now. I'm pretty revved up. Take care, everybody. I will talk to you tomorrow. Peace and cheers. Bye.